What's up, guys? We are back with another episode of What If Sports.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? I'm Kyle. This is Tim. We got a special one that's near and dear to our hearts.
Very near. Yep, it still burns a hole.
A little bit.
What if the Denver Nuggets would have beat the Lakers in the 2009 playoffs? Western Conference Finals. They were killing it.
Yeah.
End up losing to the Lakers, but what if they would have won?
Yeah, they had one of their best rosters in franchise history. And yeah, like you said, they were killing it in the regular season. They ended up playing the New Orleans Pelicans first round. They won, I think, 4-1. Then they played Dallas, won 4-1, I think, in that one as well.
Crazy stat about that New Orleans one. In Game 4, I was not at that game because we had the home court at that time. But I remember watching, and in that Game 4, we actually beat them by 58 points.
Oh yeah, that holds the record now, which
it's tied for the record because there was one way back when I can't remember which other one, but
almost got broken like this year when OKC beat Memphis by 51.
Yep, yeah, it was a crazy. I remember watching that game. I went to every single playoff game that year, every home game, and it felt different than what it had in the past. It was so much fun. But like I said, we kind of took care of business in round 1, took care of business round 2. Round 3, the dreaded Lakers.
Yeah, I mean, it was a Lakers team that they could never beat, too. It was Kobe Bryant just had the Denver Nuggets number.
So frustrating.
Like. He always seemed to play so much better against them, which, I mean, it's Kobe Bryant. He's one of the greatest to ever play. But, I mean, you also had Carmelo Anthony and Chauncey Billups, who... 2 Hall of Famers in their own. So.
Well, and you could tell because, not Chauncey, Melo was never regarded as an amazing defender by any means. However, when he played Kobe, he wanted he was hustling. He was really working. And Kobe still killed it that series. I think Melo probably was the best player in that series just overall. You could definitely tell he was trying to take over.
You could see he wanted it more than he's ever wanted it before.
Yeah. But a recap, so... We were the lower seed, so they had home court advantage. We were in LA for game 1, had the lead in the 4th, late in the 4th. One pass away pretty much from sealing it. They would have had to foul, we shoot free throws, make them, most likely game's probably over. Anthony Carter, who, he's a guard. He's known for, hey, you got to pass and stuff, throws it to Trevor Ariza. Well, Trevor Ariza steals it, but... It was just a dumb pass. I remember watching it. I was actually in Phoenix at the time, and I remember watching it in the hotel. I had to take a walk. I took a walk at our hotel because I was so angry because it's like, man, we're in L.A. We're taking game 1 in L.A.
Yeah.
Just to
literally throw it away.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mello played amazing, 39 points that game, but we ended up coming up short. We lose 105-103. Heartbreaker to lose game 1. Yeah. But... You're still thinking, hey,
we're so close
in the
game 1,
Like,
let's just go get game 2.
Yep. Which come out game 2, and both of these games were very good, but the Nuggets at the end had the lead, and having Chauncey, those clutch moments and everything, which I don't know why Chauncey wasn't throwing that ball in, by the way, in game 1. That frustrated me.
Yeah.
Kevin, we'll get to the next one. But so Chauncey and everything, we end up taking it away. Kenyon Martin played great defense. We end up winning it, tying the series in LA. 1-1. We get home court advantage.
You did what you needed to do as a road team. You took home court advantage.
Exactly, especially against the Lakers. And at that time, we were only losing a couple games, possibly a year at home.
Yeah.
It was crazy how great we were playing at home. And that was kind of George Karl's offense. We were running and gunning, wearing out the other teams.
Yeah.
Game 3, have another lead at the end. I was at this game. It was so fun. That was one of the most fun atmospheres I've ever been in.
Yeah.
At that time, it was Pepsi Center. And Kenyon Martin's throwing a ball in it late this time. Which... Why are you having Kenyon Martin throw it? I don't know. Maybe he's bigger, so they're thinking that, okay.
Yeah.
Trevor Ariza, again!
Yep.
Dude!
Came up with another clutch
steal. I
steal.
still think about these plays, man. I'm not even that little of a kid. I'm a junior in high school at this time. I'm just, oh my gosh. what is happening?
Like, what are you doing?
Are you kidding?
We could be up 3-0 at this point. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. It was so frustrating, but we end up losing the game late in the fourth after having the lead again.
Yep. Kobe Bryant that night scored 41.
Yep. So frustrating. Kobe did what he does.
Yeah.
Game 4, Nuggets killed it.
Yeah. They blew them out 120 to 101.
You want to know why I think? I actually got to meet Nene that morning. I met Nene the morning of that Game 4. I haven't get this ball back here. I got signed. That was by the whole team. I got that. I got a couple jerseys over in this area with Nene. Met him, talked to him for 15, 20 minutes.
I remember you met him. I didn't know it was during the playoffs. I'm surprised you would want to meet
it was awesome.
Then.
It was before Game 4.
But I mean, Nene was a pretty sweet player. I got to meet him a couple of times. I think I got to meet him once, too, and he was always cool and nice to me, too. But
yeah, he was awesome. I remember I took some pictures with him, had him sign them years later, actually, at a different thing and stuff. And it was just so much fun. He was really cool to talk to, and talked to Doug Moe, Adrian Dantley, which was just awesome. It was a great time. We ended up killing them, 120 to 101. We played amazing.
Yeah, Billups controlled the pace. J.R. Smith hit some big shots.
Yep.
And, we just rolled to a victory.
Yep. Game 5 rolls around. Denver had another lead in the fourth. That's back in L.A. It wasn't just one pass this time. We kind of let them back into it. They ended up beating us by 9 points. Game 6, I feel like once Game 6 came around, after the way we lost, the way we've been playing, we were just, it looked like we were exhausted, and we kind of got blown out, honestly. It just wasn't much of a game, and it's just so frustrating because you're looking, it's like you're 2 passes away from sweeping them.
Yeah.
Making it to the championship.
Yeah.
It's
maybe... I don't know if they necessarily would have swept them.
Oh, we would have swept them easy.
I would love that.
And it's tough because you never know how the next games would have been because we would have won, But really, you're 2 passes away from winning those games.
Yeah.
There's 2 late passes. Trevor Ariza, if you were never in the NBA, we would have been in glory.
Yeah, or if we were just maybe a little bit smarter, had Chauncey Billups throw in the ball.
I run back that through, and maybe there was a reason. I don't know, but the reason was probably because you wanted Chauncey to get the ball. He was a 91, 92% free throw shooter, and so you want him to get the ball. But man, you want to get the ball in. It's just I don't know.
That's
just so
like rule number 1 about inbound passes is, hey, no matter what, just get the ball in.
Yeah. And I get they're playing good defense, but I don't know. It was tough.
But
I think we played great in the series, especially other than Game 6. I think we were the better team, even though we lost a couple other ones. I think and maybe I'm biased. I don't know. The Lakers have been in those situations before that. Melo had not gotten out of the first round.
Exactly.
And I don't even think we played more than 5 games in round 1. I think it was always 4-1s. I don't think we ever lost 4-2 in the Melo era, actually.
Yeah.
And so that really, Chauncey was our really only one that had that kind of experience. And but you're coming back the next season, you think you're going to do good. But let's just say, all right, what if we ended up beating the Lakers?
I think
what happens?
I think 100% we would have beat Orlando.
Yep,
for sure.
Because it's Orlando, which they upset the Cavaliers, LeBron's Cavs. That was right before he ended up going to Miami. And he was, I don't know if he was technically in his prime, but very close.
I feel like LeBron
his whole 21 years is
it's
prime,
always in his prime.
So it's weird to say that, I don't know if he was in his prime, but he was still like MVP status right there and stuff.
And I mean, Cleveland's roster around LeBron was never really that good. I mean, that was kind of one of the reasons I think
at first,
LeBron
for sure. When he came
left,
back, it was better, for sure, with Kyrie and Kevin Love and stuff. But
I'm saying, like,
that first
pre-Miami, like, it wasn't really that good.
It wasn't anything like he's had since. Yep, exactly. And so we would have played Orlando. Some of their top players, if you don't know, Dwight Howard, he was a defensive player of the year, I think 4 times or something, slam dunk champ. He was a beast. Number 1 overall pick, I believe, in 04, 05, somewhere around there. He was a beast. I remember going down actually when the Nuggets played Orlando, because I was such a Dwight Howard fan. I ended up getting his autograph.
Nice.
And just seeing next to him, his shoulders were just massive. And he was so cool. He was honestly, everybody was saying he's the new Shaq. Is what it was.
Yeah.
But they had him, Rashard Lewis, Hito Turkoglu, Rafar Alston, Michael Pietrus, J.J. Redick, Marcin Gortat. Those are kind of some of their top players.
Yep.
And if you don't know, the Nuggets at that time had Melo, Carmelo Anthony, Chauncey Billups, Kenyon Martin, Nene, J.R. Smith, Chris Anderson, Anthony Carter, Dante Jones, Lennis Klesa. Those were kind of like their guys, you know. So I could go on for a couple more, but those were their guys.
On paper, though, like Denver probably had more physical defenders. They probably had better depth. But Orlando maybe shot the ball better, I would say, especially from 3-point territory.
The 3-point for sure. I mean, J.J. Redick, everybody knows his name. He was a 3-point shooter. Hito Turkoglu was a very good 3-point shooter. Michael Pietrus was a very good 3-point shooter.
Yep.
However, the 3-point, it wasn't how it is today.
Exactly.
This was before Curry.
Yeah.
So it was an important part, but you're really banging more down in the middle.
Exactly.
So
you're not putting up 50 threes a game.
Exactly. Like Dwight Howard is their top player. In that playoffs, he was averaging a little over 20 points per game and a little over 15 rebounds per game.
Which is insane.
Exactly. 2.6 blocks per game. That's who you're going through.
Which that probably would have been a problem for Denver.
Exactly.
Because Denver's, I think their leading rebounder was Nene, and I think he averaged 8 rebounds a game.
Yeah, he had 7.5 rebounds. Yeah. However, I think it would have been a problem, but you got to think. So they had Nene. Then they also had Kenyon Martin. Mm-hmm. Those two guys alone.
They're very physical.
Especially Kenyon Martin. Kenyon Martin was known to be physical.
Oh, yeah.
Some people said he was kind of even like a dirty, chippy player, but he was a very physical guy. He would not back down from anybody. He's rebounding. Exactly. You also have Birdman, Chris Anderson. Big guy. He's getting a lot of rebounds. So the thing with the Nuggets, just say those 3 guys. We also had a couple other guys that, like, for example, Johan Petro. He didn't really play that much, but he was another big guy. Yeah. And so you can put those, even Lennis Klesa, even like he was smaller, but say just those 3, Chris Anderson, Nene, Kenyon Martin. Oh, yeah. You can flip them all over. Kind of like how Minnesota was with Jokic, where Naz Reid and Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns, all 3 of those kept going on Jokic. So it's tiring him out. And so I think the Nuggets could have tired Dwight Howard out. Exactly. And I'm not saying he wouldn't have gotten his stuff, but he would have been tired, especially after game 1, game 2, constantly.
As long as they don't like get in foul trouble.
But that's the same. But, even if they do, there's 4 or 5 of them.
Exactly. You know? And Dwight Howard was not a very good free throw shooter.
Not at all.
Like you had the whole like foul Howard at the end of the game strategy.
It's the hack a Shaq, hack a Howard. You know. It's,
So it's the same exact thing. So it doesn't really matter if you foul him a lot, and then you take out Dwight Howard, and all right, who's going to beat you? Turkoglu?
Exactly. Rashard Lewis was a great player too. He averaged 19 points per game, 6.4 rebounds, 3 assists. Yeah, great player. But you probably are having Chauncey Billups on Lewis, who's Chauncey's averaging 20.6 points, 6.8 assists, 3.8 rebounds. Yeah. And I personally think our guys were better defenders overall. I think Dwight Howard was better. But then you have Mello. Who's guarding Mello?
Exactly. We haven't even touched into that. So Mello, like Orlando really struggled against Kobe in that series. Mello and Kobe were very similar in scoring.
Yes.
Like they could score. You could probably tell the defenders like, hey, I'm going to go left, and you can't stop me.
Especially Melo at that time. He was one of the best scorers, if not the best, in the league at that time. Because he could get a bucket. It was... I remember reading this, and now, I don't know if this has changed, but when he was with the Nuggets, he had the most, like, not 3 points. He had the most go-ahead, like, buckets in the last 30 seconds when he was with Denver, like the entire time. He was like the most clutch, because I know they do clutch within the last 2 minutes, but it was under like 10 seconds or something, go ahead or tying he was the best percentage, and he was a clutch player.
I believe it. Yeah.
It was crazy. And it was funny because I remember during the Olympics, I think it was the '08 Olympics, they were saying like, hey, who would take the last shot? And a lot of them said Melo because he was so clutch in those situations.
Yeah.
But yeah, who's guarding him? Turkoglu, which he's a good player, but like you said, they already were struggling with Kobe. Mm-hmm. Melo was very Kobe-esque.
Yeah.
And the Lakers did have other people, but they didn't have Chauncey with them.
Exactly.
Kenyon Martin. You know, I mean, J.R. Smith shooting threes. Nene down low. Yeah. Dante Jones, amazing defender. Yeah. He was... I kind of think Dante Jones, the poor man's Andre Iguodala. Or like the Andre Iguodala before him kind of thing, you know?
I could see that.
Didn't have as much offense, but he was... Man, he would bump. He would guard like some of the top players on the other team.
Yeah.
And he's not scoring, but he's a great key player for your team.
But yeah, I agree. Like Orlando, they lost the series. I think Lakers won 4-1. I think it would have been exactly the same. Denver, I think they would have won 4-1, maybe even 4-0. Like, and it would have brought Denver their first championship ever, and it would have, like, the whole Denver Nuggets, like, history would be shattered. It would be so much different than it is now.
First of all, I don't know if we get Jokic.
I don't think we get Jokic. We wouldn't have got Jamal Murray. I don't even think we'd be like we would have not ever went into a rebuild.
It's so hard.
First of all,
well, and that's because you win a championship. Melo plays the next season, and then he's gone after the following season.
Yep.
But is there even any thought in his mind if you win a championship to leave?
I don't think so.
So there's been numerous things that supposedly he never actually said, hey, I want to trade. He said, if you go into a rebuild, I do not want to go into a rebuild. I don't want to be here if you're going into a rebuild. And if that's true or not, we don't know.
Yeah.
But your mind, you're not even thinking about going into a rebuild.
No. You're like, all right, how do we continue this success? Mm-hmm. And you bring in Mello and be like, hey, what in your opinion, what do we need to stay like this? Mm-hmm. So, because there's the same owners back then. It's still the Cronkies. And we know they like to win. They want to win. They're willing to do what it takes to win. So, yeah, it's like, and I don't even blame, like, so many Nuggets fans, like, hate Mello for leaving. But I don't blame him one bit. If I was in his shoes and, hey, I want to win, I wouldn't want to rebuild either.
Exactly.
It's like, and even though, like, the owners said that, hey, we don't want it to be a long rebuild. Like, it's just going to be 2 or 3 years. But that, I feel like, never exists.
Because that's going into your prime right there, too. You're like, dude, I don't want to even do that for 2 years.
Exactly.
You know, I don't want to do that for 1 year, you know? Yeah. And, for me, I was in the NBA, and I played for, I don't know, the Hornets or something. Whoever, you know. If I had the chance to go back to Denver, where I'm from, to play, especially if it's a bigger market, why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
You know, I mean, I don't blame him, and I think he turned the Nuggets organization around because I don't think people remember how bad it was before Melo.
Yeah.
And it sucked how he left, sucked that he left. However, he did a lot for Denver.
I think the one thing that I can say about Melo now is he hasn't done anything for Denver since.
So I think that is both ways, though.
I think so.
Because I don't think... I mean, you see how the fans treat him and stuff, but I think there's some bad blood with him in the organization, so I don't think he will. Because he has done stuff like with the Knicks and different other teams as well. But I don't know if he would get... like cheer. Me and you were saying when we were in the finals in 23, it'd have been awesome if Melo would have came back, have a Jokic jersey on, people would have been like going crazy. But I don't know if they would have. They might have booed him. I don't think
he would have. I think he would have came back and people would have booed.
Exactly.
And so why like you said, why would Denver, like why would they even reach out to Melo and be like, hey, we want you to come do the first shot or whatever?
Yep.
It's like, if there's any chance of that, why would you even risk that?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't. So
the next season, because we're talking about, I don't think he would have even thought about getting traded or anything like that. However, the next season, we are on a roll. We are going. We have pretty much the exact same team. We're going. We're the number 2 team going into the All-Star break.
Yep.
Devastation happens. George Karl gets diagnosed with throat and neck cancer.
Yep.
That is your commander right there.
Yeah.
After the All-Star break, you struggle. You go from 2nd to 4th, which it doesn't seem like that much.
Yeah.
At that time, though, we dropped quite a bit. It wasn't like we were only up by a game from 3rd and 4th. We were doing very well.
Yeah.
A lot of people were like, hey, this is their year. Lose. Adrian Dantley, loved him, but they just didn't respond very good. We end up losing in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
In that next season.
Yep.
Right there, then it's like, hey.
And
the following year we started doing good as well, but George Karl missed time because he was going through cancer treatments and everything. And so when you lose your commander-in-chief right there, that's massive. That's such a big loss. And so I think even if he never gets cancer, I don't know if Melo leaves. And I know they have some bad blood too, those two.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff both of them have said.
There is. They're very opinionated people, both of them.
But I think we make a run in that playoffs.
I think
and
so
I don't
too.
know if Melo really wants to leave after.
I think even because I think Melo believed, just like a lot of people believed, that Denver was maybe one piece away from another championship run, which, all right, so Melo wanted, hey, make that trade or sign that player to get that one piece, and let's just go right back at it. I'm ready to do that. And
I don't even know if they thought about the one piece because of how they played against the Lakers. Like I said, I think it was 2 passes away from making the finals. And so I think they thought they could run it back, honestly. And then they all had that experience as well. And so they had that Western Conference Finals experience.
Yep.
They won a couple of rounds. I think Chauncey was the big X factor, honestly, in all that because you saw just the culture around the team changed once AI left, he came.
Yep.
And so, but it also changed possibly how the NBA went. I don't know if I think LeBron still goes to Miami.
I think so too. We were joking earlier before filming this. I was like, all right, what if LeBron is like, he hits up Melo, they were very close friends. He's like, hey, I want to play with you. And Melo's like, all right, then come to Denver.
Well, and Melo did his contract different than Wade, Bosch, and LeBron. And so they kind of did it where they could do this. So I think they were thinking about it a long time.
Yeah.
Melo did it differently, so he wasn't a free agent at the same time as those guys kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I think it kind of would have stayed the same, but Kobe's legacy would have definitely took a hit a little bit because that's one more championship.
Yep. Another
time, he doesn't get it done without Shaq.
Exactly. And the question looms of, can Kobe win without Shaq? Still goes around. And,
exactly.
And
he's getting older.
Also, Melo would have had more championships than LeBron at that point. LeBron had never won. Melo did. So a lot of people think Melo as this, I feel like fringe Hall of Famer because, hey, well, he never won the championship. Was on he was on Denver, the Knicks, then kind of bounced around the league for a little trying to win a ship. But
some people, he was a first ballot. He just ended up going, I think deservingly so. But some people say he doesn't deserve because of that, And
people value championships so much in the NBA, which it does mean a lot, but it's not the all factor, all be all.
Just because, Charles Barkley, for example, never won the championship, and a lot of people think he was one of the, maybe not greatest, but he was top 50, of all time and everything. And so it's so hard to win a championship, and you see this as the Nuggets right now because we won in 2023. Really, since we've had some chances, but it's hard to get it done. You have to have everything correct.
The NBA has they've made it harder. They don't like dynasties. I don't care. Adam Silver doesn't like them. He doesn't think it's good for business, which I don't know. You can agree or disagree, but they make it very hard to win back-to-backs. Hasn't been done in like a while now.
The last one, Lakers probably.
Lakers or Golden State.
Oh no, Golden State for sure. Yeah, Golden.
So
I forgot about.
I think
well,
it's
just
also
with the
like,
aprons and stuff, it's just harder with like to get those players back and everything, and so it's just. And then we kind of just touched about it, but Melo's legacy in Denver, even if he leaves for New York 2 years later, he brought a championship to Denver.
Exactly.
It would be so much different. I think people. Yeah. See, it's tough because honestly, the Nuggets should have never gave Jokic number 15, to be completely honest with you. Second round pick, you should never gave him 15 because you should have already thought, like, hey, we are going to retire Melo's jersey at some point. And so it's you did not think. I don't care who says, if they were like, oh no, they knew it from the beginning. There is absolutely no way you thought Jokic was even going to be an all-star, let alone 3-time MVP.
Yeah.
Arguably, if he has 4 or 5 more years like this, the greatest player of all time. I don't care if we win another championship.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's just, he's got to be in the, at least the big, like centers and stuff, like he's got to be in it. I mean, even right now,
I feel
top
like
15?
He could retire today and he'd be in that conversation of best center of all time.
Yeah, I mean, at least top 15 of all time, top 5 center of all time.
Yeah, I don't care what scout you are, you cannot see that. You cannot see film tape and see like, yep, that's a
at least at that. I mean, LeBron James, you could kind of say like, hey, he's going to live up to the hype. But as a second round pick, there's absolutely no way they thought.
If you were seeing that, then why did so many people pass him up?
That, and why didn't you pick him in the first round?
Exactly.
So that's where with the Nuggets and Mellow, it's just, it changes everything.
Yeah.
And
wasn't it not even Jokic that wore 15 first, though? I thought there was another player. I thought it was like Zach Randolph or something.
We had Anthony Randolph. Zach
Yeah.
Randolph played for Memphis.
Yeah.
He was a big guy. He wore number 50, I believe, for Memphis, which I don't know why I remember that.
I'm
It's
pretty
very
sure you're
weird,
right.
but I think he played or wore number 50 for
but
Memphis.
I thought
we had an
there was
Anthony
somebody
Randolph,
else.
and he might have, I don't know.
Because I thought there was
Jokic
something
came
I
like
read.
right after Melo, though. He just didn't play that, really. Because he was drafted in
2012.
Was it 12?
I think so.
So it was right after. We got Jamal Murray in the trade to Melo. And that's the thing. So we got Jamal Murray, like that pick with the trade with New York. We got Jokic. It's just, we would have kept Chauncey. It's just, there's so many different things that.
Chauncey Billups was getting older, but he still played for a couple more seasons after that. So.
Yeah, he went to New York with Melo.
Yeah.
And then he played in, where did he play after? I can't remember. He played somewhere. Yeah. But it's just like, it's crazy to think how 2 passes changed my life.
Yeah. I mean,
know?
You were more of a fan. I was 14 at the time, I think. So I was a fan. I went to Nuggets games and I probably watched them on TV, but I wasn't nearly as invested in them every single night now. Like every single night now, if the Nuggets are playing, I'm watching it.
Yeah.
Like,
or at least you know what's going on in the game.
It's like I'm
kind of thing.
Probably building my day around the Nuggets game.
That I remember that year, it was like 3 or 4 years straight that overall I missed 3 games. Yeah. And like 4 or 5. It was probably like 4 or 5 seasons. That season included, I think I missed 1 game that entire season.
Yeah.
And I'm watching every single, I'm at the Pepsi Center. Yeah. I was Nugget man.
Which was, for Denver, the Nuggets at that time, they were, I think, the only really great team.
Yeah, because the Avs had a tough time. Rockies actually were playing pretty good at that time. For the Rockies, I mean, 07, the huge Western World Series. 09, we made the playoffs.
Yeah,
and so
I think that was the last time.
No, we made it once with Bud Black. I remember we looked at this on one of the other pods that we did. But it just changes so much. We could keep going into it, but let us know what you guys think.
Yeah.
Just if you were in Denver at the time, or not even if you were in Denver, just if you were watching the NBA, what do you think? how do you think that would have changed the NBA aspect, especially the Nuggets organization? That would have completely changed the Nuggets organization completely.
Yeah. Or do you not even think Denver would have won? Do you think Orlando would have beat them? And
do you think we're crazy?
Yeah.
Maybe we're biased. Who
Being
knows?
biased Denver fans.
Yeah. Well, if we're biased, no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, and then if you guys have any other topics, we're down to hear them. We'd love to hear them and do some more what ifs. But we hope you had a great week. Hopefully you guys liked listening to this. I know I loved it.
Yeah.
It brought back memories, some good, some bad.
I know we've got a few Denver fans that listen to us, and they've mentioned Denver and Nuggets and stuff. So hopefully you guys watch this and enjoy it. But,
that's all we got.
Yeah.
You have a great week. Peace.